webinar series. We are so excited to have everybody here on Facebook Live, and we have a really unique conversation ahead for everybody. This morning, I am really excited to welcome Mike Wincup, Phil Wilson, and Chloe Hosfeld to the group. All three of these members have been part of IAAPA for a long time, serving on committees, volunteering in many ways, and also with our board of directors. So what they are bringing today is a unique perspective to the conversation as we all deal with the COVID-19 crisis. IAAPA has focused a lot, and a lot of the conversations have been on when our properties, facilities, and members will reopen again. But those members who are part of the manufacturers and suppliers side of the business have really unique story to tell too, and also have different things that they're facing and looking ahead to. So by bringing together Mike and Philip and Chloe, we're able to talk about what's going on in their businesses and how they're preparing to reopen, not just when parks reopen, but also for themselves. So this part, what I'd like to do is just open the floor to you guys, and Mike, we'll start with you, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about what's going on with you guys and what you're preparing for in these coming days and weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us on this morning, Susie. At Galaxy, we make indoor parks and attractions. So it's been an interesting transition while we've been locked down here in Florida, and we've got different projects in various states of completion. So thankfully, they're still ticking along, and that's kind of where we're at the moment, trying to get the guys back in the factory and back to work, and keep the wheels turning.
Phil, what's going on with you guys with Extreme Engineering?
Echoing a little bit on Mike. With our company, we build we manufacture roller coasters and also do a lot of engineering, design, and fabrication for other suppliers in the industry. So as we see our other suppliers kind of navigating through this difficult time on production to delivery, we're kind of feeling a little bit of that as well. Certainly we've had to adapt to the climate and figure out what are some outlets that we can fabricate or get into engineering in the meantime, just to keep things moving forward, whether it's amusement related or not. The thing that I've noticed in general in our industry is the pure production side of things certainly have slowed down, but the service side, i.e., working on quotes, creative illustrations to master planning, those things I've seen ramp up quite a bit. I can tell you our engineering service side has actually ramped up quite a bit, actually a lot. So I think what's going on, guys, is people are starting to plan and get ready to open when things do open. So I think there's work to be done, but the shift is changing, and I kind of noticed that with a lot of people right now.
Chloe, what about you? What's going on with everybody at JRA?
So I think we're on week 7 of being closed. We closed down right after we got back from the IAAPA Leadership Summit, actually. And while things in Ohio are phasing reopening, JRA is in a big office building downtown, and our design studio and marketing team and executive team are all doing as well as can be expected working from home, while we all can't wait to get back in the office. We're a consulting team, so we are able to work from home. So I think what we're going to be doing is watching and waiting and learning from people as they open up prior to rushing back into the office. A lot of our team are parents as well, so we're trying to accommodate the safety of their families and the fact that childcare is a real issue for a lot of us. So making sure that personally people are being accommodated, not only professionally. So while Phil mentioned a lot of the planning has started to ramp up, we are seeing that as well. We're getting contacted by some of our loyal clients. While some of our projects have gone on hold, others have gone on, which is great. We're very, very thankful for that. So we continue to answer RFIs, RFPs, and look forward to helping some of our current clients with their reopening.
You bring up a really good point, talking about it's not just returning to work, but also remembering our employees and your colleagues are at home, they have children, childcare, school is out. And on the manufacturer supplier side of things, does that make it harder for you guys to return to business, like working with your team? Or do you think maybe it's a little bit easier than a traditional park that has to have employees at a ticket counter or a window or that sort of thing?
I can't wait. I can't wait to not hug, but want to hug all of our team and see them in the office. And, it's great to hang out with Fletch and Eric on a daily basis, but he does really good at daycare and we really like it. So we're hoping they open up pretty soon.
Yeah, I think Chloe touched on how most of us feel. I mean, this industry, we're full of extroverts. We like to be in front of people, hug people, and really celebrate each other's success. And so when you're stuck at home, it does tend to be a little challenging. I could say thank God for social media and video conferencing, because I was thinking, imagine this happened in 1980. I can only play about 40 minutes of Pong. I just don't think I could do that forever. But I echo with Chloe as a father of 2 kids, and then my wife also working from home. It is hard, but the good thing about that, guys, is you get to really spend time together with your family, because we're always on the road, we're always traveling, we're always somewhere. Right now, it's that magic moment where you get to spend a little extra time, and it's chaotic, but it's also, there's some great things out of it too. So I do appreciate it, but certainly on to Chloe's point, I'm ready to go back out there too. So.
Right. I'm glad that we don't have some of the challenges that a park or a public venue has, that a lot of our guys are in their own departments and in the factory already, and they're already used to wearing protective gear, face masks and things like that. I've had my foreman tell me that he's watched some of our YouTube videos just because he misses my voice, which is a little strange, but we're a big family, and it's weird being away for so long.
When we were preparing for this conversation, one of the things we hear over and over again, and you guys all said it, is this is unprecedented. We've never dealt with this before, and it's new. And Phil, you brought up an interesting analogy the other day. You said that this reminds you a little bit of 9/11. And I thought that was kind of great for this morning. So if you guys could share a little bit what you think about that, and what will things do and look like once we get on the other side of the COVID crisis?
Yeah, Susie, thanks. I think when I was talking about the whole analogy 9/11, I mean, obviously these are 2 very different crises we're going through, but it's not about when we get back to work. It's excuse me. It's not when we get back to work. It's about how, right? And that's the one thing that I think theme parks and suppliers and just the general public, what is this? What is the how? What is that answer? And I know everybody from CDC to every state, regulatory, to the governor, to even our association, IAAPA, sent a wonderful guideline out there on here's some things to be prepared for reopening. And I think, guys, whatever it is, I think it's going to change, some of it forever, some of it temporarily. And, don't look at it as, gosh, this is another red tape in my life. Look at it as an opportunity. I think there's going to be things from the skies creatively that all of us can come up with, whether it's a new product, a new service. There's some innovation coming out of these breakdown moments. One example, Universal, for example, they filed a patent on a self-cleaning vehicle. So it's pretty cool. And then there's so much stuff coming out right now on UV technology, where people are researching on how can you use that to kill bacteria. It's still getting tested. But guys, I think these breakdown moments, there's going to be some huge innovation with breakthroughs when we get through this. So I say, as much as it seems concerning and scary, celebrate the things that are going to come out of it. I think it's going to be actually a good thing for a lot of us.
Chloe and Mike, do you have anything to add to that, or what do you think too?
The true impact on the design work that we do is yet to be seen. We don't think it can really be as trivial as queue lines and every third seat being filled, but that's the way that we're going to be able to reopen now. So I think opening this year is going to be very different than planning for the future. And like Phil said, that's a way for us to create new opportunities. We were lucky enough to be asked to participate in one of the weekly conversations that the Pennsylvania Association of Parks and Attractions have been having. Pete Bartow from SNS leads those, and he gave me a call. And one of our senior project directors, Randy Smith, joined the call, and it was really, really nice to see the conversations between the group going. Many of our competitors are looking what other markets to get into outside of entertainment, whether we can show benefits of our knowledge and expertise to things that we never really thought we could partake in. So we're trying to look elsewhere. We're trying to continue to support the entertainment industry, though, because this is our bread and butter and what we love to do. So any support that we can have for the operators right now, we're here for them. You know, if they're not around, we're not around. So as the new opportunities come, we still are here for the support of the ones that we've been built on.
Yeah, the changes that we've seen or anticipate, because we have a foot very much in the indoor family entertainment sector and the party rental industry. So they kind of conflict with each other sometimes. And a big thing that's come up recently is for us labeling, and just from a legal standpoint of maybe warning guests that, you know, although our attractions are sanitized and we take, you know, cleaning extremely seriously, that there is an inherent risk with any surface that you may come into contact with. So that's going to be part of our new labeling, that which sounds crazy that you've got to explain the obvious, but it's something that as all as manufacturers and suppliers that we have to do to protect ourselves, is think at the worst case scenario of what somebody could come back with. Apart from that, I mean, our long-term projections in terms of designing hasn't really changed too much, and thankfully people are still pushing ahead and planning for indoor party venues and going forward like that. So how we adapt it's really gonna start to unwrap in the coming months of how things have changed, and then we're going to see it implemented going into 2021.
Yeah, Chloe, I think you brought up a really good point when you say how we are today for reopening is going to be vastly different when how we prepare and what the future looks like. And so it's a phased approach. It's very much what we're in now. How are we handling now? How are we preparing for the short term, and then looking ahead to the future?
Absolutely. We just received some information on a potential project, and we were already seeing the verbiage in the request for information about where the world climate is at this time, but still trying to be optimistic for the future, saying people are going to have a desire, not only a desire, but a need to get out and be social with other people. It's not just our industry that are a bunch of extroverts. Everybody wants to see each other now. We're seeing that as places are opening, people are going right away. Not that that's what everybody should do, but, you know, places are going to open, and we want the guests, and they want to experience socialization. So that aspect of the planning is already starting to happen, because anybody who's wanting to create a new attraction or facility or museum, whatever it is, they're going to have to plan that way now.
Yeah, and the tail on Chloe's comment, you know, inherently our company are problem solvers. You know, we're a bunch of engineers, and we're always looking at, okay, what can we do to fix the concern and provide a solution that gets people back on track. And, you know, I'm reading some of the feed right here, I live on the side, and talking about queuing gates and how disgusting they are and how sometimes they're annoying. And, you know, those are one of the things we're actually tackling right now is coming up with some innovations with some of our industry friends and partners on distancing people far enough, but getting them into the park or into the aquarium quick enough so they can still enjoy the day. And so again, back to that breakthrough comment I made, you know, this is what comes out of these things, is those breakthrough things. The other thing too, I want to echo on Chloe, is there's been some research done on being isolated right now and what's going to happen when it opens. And they're forecasting that credit card debt's going to go through the roof because people don't care if they have a job or not. They're going to go somewhere. People are already booking travel. Some travel agencies have an influx in travel bookings, and including the cruise line industry have pre-bookings sold out to go on cruise ships. So she's right. Everyone's ready. And I think what's going to happen is when we open, it's going to be a scramble for a lot of people in a lot of industries. And I want to just tell everyone, quit thinking about this as a recession. It feels that way, but I think it's a pause. I think once this is over, it's going to be recouping and recovery, and then quickly back to getting things out the door, to equipment, to getting people into the park.
One of the things we talked about the other day, which I thought the three of you said so eloquently, is everyone's been focusing on social distancing, but really it's about physical distancing. And what you three of you are talking on and is saying that we're social people, and the attractions industry is a social industry. So we know people still want to enjoy the industry and be social with each other. It's the physical distancing that we need to work on. So do you want to talk a little bit more about that? Or I just love the way you guys brought that to light.
I'm not taking credit for that. That's Jerome. That's Jerome gave it some enlightenment on don't say physical, or say physical distancing, not social distancing. He's dead on. It should be called physical distancing, not social, because again, we're all very social. And I think the challenge with that whole term, though, is when you go to a theme park, you're not physical distancing yourself with your family and friends. You want to get up close and personal and experience things together. But yeah, again, that term is definitely a better way of saying social distancing, in my opinion.
Mike, you're laughing.
Yeah, no, it's right. We're in this industry and we're trying to bring everybody together. And certainly some of the games and parks that I design, you're meant to touch each other and be very close. It's not like a structured roller coaster where you've got your physical barriers between you. So the physical distancing is going to be a challenge for some indoor facilities going forward. And we've talked in previous shows about reduced capacity and things like that, but changing the language, something from so simple to physical instead of social, I think is important, because we are an extremely social industry, and we will continue to be so through this. It's not going to change.
One of the things that you, I think, have even started is you're really the inspiration for even a talk like this today. So when the crisis first started, Mike, you actually prompted, you thought about some way to continue to connect us and start your own weekly Facebook show. So what inspired you to do that? I know you inspired IAAPA to do our own version. So maybe talk a little bit about what you've been doing with that and how you're continuing to connect with the industry.
Yeah, well, we started 7 weeks ago now doing a weekly Facebook Live on the same platform that we're on now. And we, as a company, established that this wasn't the right time, or we asked the question, how do you communicate with your customers and get in touch with them? Because nobody's thinking about buying right now. And we certainly weren't thinking about selling. But with 30 years as a manufacturer, we wanted to share our experience and our vast contact book with all of our customers, and picking specialty people of how we can spread some quality information, because there's so much garbage out there, to be quite frank. So we've had corporate tax lawyers, we've had insurance professionals, finance companies, and a whole range of manufacturers giving their input on how it's affected them, how they see it's going forward. And why we're here today, I mean, it's just a case of connecting people and sharing experience so that we all feel a little bit better that we're not in this alone, and that people are going through the same or similar kind of struggles. So that's been primarily a marketing effort for us, and just still staying connected with our customers and providing a platform for friends in the industry to share how they've got through this crisis that's affecting everybody.
And Chloe, I know you've kind of touched on that too. We're talking about how this is a global crisis, but everyone is coming together and sharing ideas, whether they're competitors or colleagues or part of the same team. And so maybe that's one of the positives that's coming out of all this. You tell me.
Absolutely. So, JRA's current focus is obviously working and completing the work that we still have, continue to answer the requests that come in. But mostly it's changing marketing tactics. We're doing our best to stay relevant and seen by our current clients and potential clients. But like Mike said, we don't want to be salesy. That's not the situation that we're in right now. It is how we make our living, but everybody's hurting right now. We need to make sure that we're thinking about them. So saying that, we are staying current and relevant because of the information that we're getting day to day from our friends, our colleagues, our frenemies. Everybody is staying open. Nobody is keeping information. It's things are changing daily for everyone. And the only way that we're all going to be able to make this industry survive is by shelling out the information to one another. It's too important to hold on to right now. We always say our biggest competitors are some of our best friends. We hate to lose to them, but we love to sit in the bar with them at the end of the evening. We're lucky that we have such a tight-knit group of people in this industry, and we want to continue to see them throughout the years. So everybody keeps sharing the information as it comes in. You never know what's happening in your state could be happening differently in another one, and it's really, really important to stay relevant. And it's really nice to see each other.
Phil, do you have anything to add with that? I know you were talking a whole lot about being connective and innovative and managing through this storm.
Yeah, I think Chloe's right. It's hard to sell goods or services, and I get so annoyed. I'm sure everybody on this call listening, when you get an email from a company that you didn't even remember signing up for, saying what we're doing about COVID-19. We're here to help, 0% interest, free financing. You hear all this stuff. You're like, okay, guys. So certainly don't want to go down that path. That's the wrong path. It's a delicate matter, and actually, some of the good industry friends, even Chloe, I spoke to about this, is what do you do right now? You can't call and sell, master planning and creative ideas and solutions from like JRA to, Mike selling, innovative stuff to family entertainment centers, to me selling engineering or coasters or fabrication. It's a really tough thing to offer right now. So talking with some of these people, they say, you just got to listen and listen to what's going on, and just be there to understand the challenges they're going through. And you guys probably, some of you might have heard this before, my saying, and I didn't, by no means is this my saying. I actually heard this from Megan's friend, and she basically made a very good comment about the situation, which was, we're not all in it together. We're actually in the same storm, but we're riding different ships. And the way we're handling this is very different, personally and professionally. And that really hit me hard. I'm like, my gosh, because some of us are stay-at-home parents with the kids. Some don't have kids. Some are family-owned businesses. Some are not. Some are parks. Some are suppliers. And how we're navigating every day through this climate is very different. So I really think we're not in it together. However, we're dealing with it together, if that makes sense. And I think it's so crucial during this time, guys, that we call each other just to support each other, not sell as much as we need to sell, but not sell, and just listen and understand and actually gain knowledge from each other. Like what Chloe said, we're, checking on your competitors, checking on your frenemies, checking on everyone that you can understand from and learn from as well. And you giving back as much knowledge as you have too.
Yeah, it's really important right now, not only on a knowledge base level, but you see all the messages on TV, the news, everything. Check in with your loved ones. Well, this industry, everybody's a loved one. Check in with your friends. Make sure they're doing okay. We all want to hear about work all the time, but I think I talk to Phil every other day, and it makes me feel better. I'm having a bad day, and I call him, and he's got a kid yelling in the background too. He's trying to answer an email, and I'm like, Yes, somebody else is living the same life. And everybody is just getting by as best as we can.
Yeah.
And, it is what it is. I'm cautiously optimistic that we're all going to get through it, but it's hard. Um, it's, no sugarcoating from us. It's been a really, really hard 7 weeks.
Agree.
And you just have to make sure we're all there for one another, no matter who they are.
Yeah, and the different ships in the storm that Phil said, I mean, we're all suppliers of different natures, but even within like the little subcategory of the party rental industry, I'm concerned about some manufacturers because the point in the year where this broke, they're holding hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of stock, and none of their customers are making any money. And it's important. It's as important to me that they survive because it's the strength of our industry. Because if one goes under, it creates a knock-on effect. And being there to support another manufacturer and maybe give them some tips, either on just on a human level, but from a business point of view, some kind of marketing advice or just financial support. If you've got something in your state, a program that it may not exist. I'm in Florida and Phil's in California. I'd still share something that's going on in Florida just in case there's something similar in California. And, with those frenemies that Chloe said, we're all in this separately together. So it's about maintaining the integrity of the industry and making sure that we all pull through this so that we come through it on the other side a lot stronger.
Phil, you look so serious.
The kids are three-quarter way. The kids are three-quarter ways to their cereal bowls. I'm just waiting for them to come into the screen. and you know what, Chloe? Yes, Benadryl's okay.
Well, Phil, I would want to take a moment and just give you the opportunity to share how your company has did right now. And I know Extreme Engineering has been making some personal protective equipment for our first responders and those who are working with the COVID. So maybe you want to talk about that a little bit. That's a great example of not only innovation, but pivoting, being relevant, and frankly, helping our community.
Yeah, well, I think who inspired us, quite frankly, to do it was Andy from Daniels Woodland, him doing isolation gowns and seeing what he was doing. And we're like, what can we do to that level? And so we took on shields. In fact, here's our shield. And we decided to make a new version for park operators, not just for first responders, because if you read through the Facebook guidelines, or excuse me, we're talking about Facebook. You read through IAAPA guidelines and you look at what CDC is coming out with, a lot of the public places that are going to allow the mass public coming into are going to require some layered protection. And so we've been getting calls from a lot of our friends at amusement parks going, hey, can you help us with this challenge? And so we tooled up. And what's cool about our factory in Texas is we have the tools. They just got to be building the different product. And so it was more about adapting and being nimble in this situation we're in to change the tools to make something relevant to the crisis we're going through right now and provide something that's helpful. So we've been able to get these out pretty quick. Never in my lifetime did I think I'd be making PPE equipment like Andy. It sure doesn't sound as cool and sleek as roller coasters or theming, but you know what? That's what we got to do. And part of it too allows us to be essential right now in the workforce. By being able to do these kind of things, we can work, we can keep the factory open, we can keep people employed, and we can get something out that's beneficial to the parks. So.
Well, I know there's been a lot of great talk about that through the IAAPA industry community, and I just want to say thank you guys for doing that. And like you said, Daniels Woodland and many other of our members have jumped ahead and been doing something really similar. So we love seeing how innovative and responsive our industry is. And I think while it's not your primary goal, and we know that's not what you want to do forever, it's a great way, like you said, to continue to move forward and support all of us as we get ready to open. So what I wanted to ask all of you is that moment of what is it that you want those who are watching, and we've had people watching now from Dubai, from India, we've got people from Indiana, Virginia, all over the place are listening to the three of you. So what is the one thing that you hope those who tuned into us today hear from you or know that you would like to share with everyone? So Mike, why don't we start with you?
Oof. Talk about springing a question on us. I don't know. There's just to keep that positive attitude, and as our good friend Emily would say, just keep staying funky fresh and really, move forward and know that this is going to end, and that just position yourself in a way that you can come on the other side, because the earth is still spinning. And I don't mean to make light of this is a huge health concern, but we're managing it and we're getting through it, and do the best you can, and whatever that is good enough.
Chloe?
I can't wait to see you guys. Literally cannot wait to see you guys. Stay positive, stay there for one another. First thing that comes to mind is I cannot wait to come and see each and every single one of you. And take care of one another. Yeah.
Phil, we're going to land on you.
Oh, yeah. Closing statement. No, I would just say, guys, that, right now it's so important to look at everything in your life as a breakthrough right now. If you're healthy, be thankful for that. If you're, at home with your wife and your husband and your kids or whoever you're with, give them a hug today. These are magic times as well as they are dim and grim times, they feel like. But at the end of the day, guys, do yourself a favor. Don't watch the news every day. Right. And focus on things that are positive in your life. And if it does seem like the world's going to end, it's not. This association's been around for 100 years. They've seen so many crazy things that we've been through. And this is just another crazy thing that we're also going to get through, guys. So if anything, guys, I just want to encourage everybody watching, everyone on this call with us, that, yeah, this is something we're definitely it's going to challenge us, but we're going to be much stronger and more prepared for the next thing that comes. It's like hitting the gym. It's like Chloe on her Peloton every morning. Yeah. And I want one, Chloe. I'm still going to get one. And when you go to the gym, the hardest part going to the gym is what? Getting there. But once you get in and you accomplish that goal and you get out, you feel stronger. So treat this like a workout in a way. And that sounds silly, but it's challenging us mentally and physically. And as we get through those challenges, you're going to be stronger. You really are.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more, Phil. I think now's the time, and we're doing this to stay connected. And if you're making the connections now and rebuilding those relationships, it's what you do, how you deal with this now is what's going to define you few months, few years down the line, and those building blocks, like you said about the gym. So get your work in now and we'll push through.
Guess now we all need a Peloton. Chloe and Phil, thank you so much for joining us on Cinco de Mayo, as we all joked earlier. So cheers to you and to there he is. Cheers to you and to our IAAPA family and everybody. We really appreciate you sharing your time and insight with us, and can't wait to see you again. Yes, everybody, have a margarita. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. Yeah, it's funky for margarita. We're gonna have to trademark that. So thank you all for tuning in for this week's IAAPA webinar. You can follow us for all of our updates on COVID resources at IAAPA.org/COVID-19 and continue to check out our Facebook page. So thank you all very much. Have a great day.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Take care.